What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Justin Henry Show here live, Friday, May 26th. This show's getting a little interesting now because we've been anticipating, we're going to have some NBA Finals talk here, and we do not. The Boston Celtics pulling off a Game 5 victory at home, 110-97, dominating most of the game, and things are getting real interesting now. There in Boston. So Game 6 headed to Miami. We're going to talk with, obviously I got to pull my boy Matt, and we're going to talk about this series here. A couple NFL notes too. OTAs are going on right now. So I want to talk about OTAs. Lamar Jackson changing up a little bit of a different story this year, it seems like, when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens offense. So we'll get into that. But some absolutely breaking news right now. DeAndre Hopkins has been released from the Arizona Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins is now a free agent. Yes, all offseason talk was, where is DeAndre Hopkins going to get traded? This is a guy who we know still can be an elite receiver at times, but DeAndre Hopkins is now a free agent heading into the middle of this offseason right now. Big move from the Arizona Cardinals, who are obviously going with the rebuild here. DeAndre Hopkins, still a talented receiver, 30 years old, has a lot to bring to an offense, has talked all offseason about the different quarterbacks that he wants to play with, about the different teams he wants to join. So expect DeAndre Hopkins to get picked up ASAP here within the next week or two. Could be even sooner than that. A lot of Bills love from DeAndre Hopkins, talking about Josh Allen, who he'd like to play with. Von Miller has speculated that he wants to come there. So DeAndre Hopkins will be on the move. I think the best fit for him this year to try to win a Super Bowl is probably with Buffalo. Outside of going to like KC, Buffalo's a really good fit. They have a need for a number 2 receiver, would take some pressure off of Stephon Diggs. They obviously have Gabe Davis there, ability to stretch the field, but somebody a little bit more consistent to pair up with Josh Allen's big arm. I think this is a move that's going to happen very soon. DeAndre Hopkins to the Bills, or potentially the Ravens, right? Lamar came out the other day and said he would love to have DeAndre Hopkins on the Ravens, but that ownership was telling him it's probably not going to happen due to contracts and the amount of receivers they already have, right? Going and getting a receiver in the draft. They already have Odell Beckham, obviously have Rashad Bateman. So it's going to be a little bit tougher for the Ravens to sign him, but I think Buffalo is a team to look out for when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins. He said nothing but good things all offseason about Josh Allen. So DeAndre Hopkins, officially a free agent, will not be traded, has whatever team he wants at his disposal. So we'll see, because he was just throwing, the other day, DeAndre Hopkins was saying, who said I want to leave? Who said I want to leave? And here he is. We knew all along you wanted to get out of Arizona. You weren't going to be part of a rebuild. So good for him. New situation for DeAndre Hopkins, but we got to talk about Celtics Heat Game 5. This is a new series. And we've never seen, I think we look at that 3-0. The Heat automatically, I was kind of in that boat of like, yeah, Heat need to win Game 4 in order for this thing to be over. He got to win Game 5 in order for this thing to be over. Here we are, Game 6, going back to Miami. I thought Game 5 was must win for the Heat. It kind of feels like the Celtics have all the momentum right now. If I was a Miami Heat fan, especially with Gabe Vincent's ankle being a little banged up and missing games, you need Gabe Vincent back because he's been a rock for this offense. They need something. Gabe Vincent to come back, Tyler Hero to come back. Like, this is a different Celtics team. When their backs are against the wall, I don't know what it is about this Celtics team, but every time we count them out, that's when they seem to play like their best. So I'm going to get my boy Matt in here because I know he was watching the game last night. We got to talk about this because both of us have been like, I've been kind of on the Celtics train, and then I started falling off a little bit towards the Heat, right? I've been thinking the Celtics are the better team this whole time, but on paper, sometimes things don't add up. Sometimes you got to have them dogs on your team, and Miami Heat got them dogs, but how far can that dog take you, man? Matt, Bone HD, what's good in the building?
What's good, man? And I think Game 6 is a Game 7. I think Saturday night is Game 7 for the Miami Heat. You know, they are at a point now where you don't want to go back to Boston, and there has to be a sense of urgency. And I know Jimmy's still not worried, and it feels like every time the Heat lose, you got a photo of Jimmy Butler smiling on the bench. But I think they are in dangerous water here of making NBA history. And we looked at that game before, and we told ourselves, if they can close it out, they're good. Boston keeps saying, we just got to win one. And, we got game 6 in Saturday night. Like, as an NBA fan, I'm loving it. Yeah. But rooting for the Miami Heat and wanting to see Jimmy Butler get that ring, I'm starting to get a little nervous here, Justin.
I'd be nervous too. Like, it's not one of those scenarios where, like, oh, they're just an inferior team, they're glad to be there. This has been one of the best teams in basketball all season long. They were at their breaking point in game 3. The team had looked like they had quit. The coach falls on his own knife and says, hey, it's my fault that we suck. I don't have the guys ready. And it seems like this whole team is just kind of taking this mantra of, like, don't let us get one more. Don't let us get the next game. Don't let us get the next one. Now it's been 2 wins since then. We've seen this team come back from 3-2 already this postseason. 1 win on the road changes the landscape of the entire NBA. Like, if the Celtics end up coming back from this, they'd be the first team 0-150. 0-150. That's the record right now for teams down 0-3. Out of 150 teams. The probability of that is crazy for them to even be in this position. We talked about only one team's even taken it to a game 7. And then they lost, obviously. But the Celtics, to me, they have all the firepower. It's about the will, and it's about, are they going to play as a team? That's when they look like a team. Jason Tatum's doing what he's supposed to do. The rest of the team is stepping up. There's a guy, one game it'll be Marcus Smart. Next game it'll be Derek White. Next game it'll be Brogdon. Next game it'll be one of the other role players. When they're all locked in, this Celtics team is a tough out, bro.
And I think it's one of those things where when you look back at the Boston Celtics 2023 playoff run, there's some games where they look like they deserve to be in the NBA Finals, and there's other games where they look like, that awful Charlotte Bobcats team where they just are nothing's going.
Don't go that low, bro.
I like to see them play with a little bit of urgency. They started that game hot. They jumped off to a huge lead, and they never looked back. And it was one of those things I'm thinking to myself, this game 6 Saturday night is everything for this series. And I am so unbelievably excited because I think Miami knows they have to win that game. And how is Boston going to respond? I did see something that I wanted to bring up. I don't know if you saw, they asked Joe Mazzulla how he's able to keep his cool through all this. Did you see that little piece that he gave? That was awesome. And
yeah, explain that, man.
So basically they were asking him after the post-game interview, they were saying, hey, like, how have you been able to keep your cool and level-headed with everything that's going on? And he went out and said that he met with 3 younger girls that had terminal cancer. And just seeing the life and the optimism that they have made him kind of look back and take perspective of everything that's going on in his life. And it is, at the end of the day, like we just talked about, it's just a game. But that was really, really, really cool to see. And I think, you kind of went out there and said he was falling on his sword. Like, he was taking all the blame for that team. And we were looking to see how those guys were going to respond to it. And they've done a great job. And I'm so excited for game 6, Justin.
Yo, it's been crazy to kind of see the turnaround from this team since those comments that came out. And they look like a whole brand new team. It looks like the team that we all expected coming into the playoffs. And I look on their side, and I respect Joe Mazzulla a lot because a lot of people would have folded. A lot of people would have put blame on others. And it would be easy to have quit on this team and quit on this series and kind of quit on head coaching. And I think he understands what he has in that locker room. And he seems like one of those guys that's like, you know what, maybe I'm not my best. But then that's when he starts to produce the best results. And it seems like this team is really backing him right now. It's kind of like when Dylan Brooks was poking at LeBron a little bit. It seems like the team rallied around him. We might be getting the same thing here with the Celtics team. Now, it seems like the Heat were kind of doing that with Jimmy Butler. They were all in on, like, Jimmy Butler, the way that he was playing. And now Jimmy Butler has his back to the wall because we've kind of heard, oh, I'm not worried. We see him smiling. But he's like, oh, we're going to win this series. Oh, we're going to win game 6. That's a lot of talk right now. And a lot of, I'm not worried. We've been in this situation before. We're not worried about what the media says. That's fine. But you have a team that has the exact same hunger right now and is matching that energy. Don't let us win one. To me, that sounds a lot like we'll win game 6. And when you've been all bravado for a lot of the series and you kind of catch people off guard, I think it's okay to be like that. But kind of bravado right now at a time when your team needs you to be, like, mentally strong. I get it. It's good to say, oh, we're going to win game 6. But to me, it sounds empty from a team that's just lost 2 straight games, has an injured point guard right now, a piece that's a little bit more valuable than I think everybody was giving credit to, Gabe Vincent, and then a team that's actually playing really good basketball right now in this Boston Celtics team.
And I think Jimmy Butler is going to come out there, and I believe he's going to put up 40 points. I do. I think he's going to back up his talk.
I don't see how.
I honestly don't see
a 40-point game from Jimmy. Like, how's he going to do that?
I don't know. Here's my thing, right? When Jimmy Butler talks, I listen, right? And the confidence that he shows, it's not, this false confidence. I think he truly believes in himself, and the injuries, are starting to catch up to Miami here, and they're playing up against a very good Boston Celtics team, and he's going to have to put the team on their back because, at the end of the day, they're role players for a reason. You have no idea what you're going to get out of some of these guys. Even like, Caleb Martin, I thought he was going down there for a second too, and I got scared. Like, yeah, Jimmy Butler needs to come out and assert himself in Game 6. And if he doesn't, hey, Boston's at a point now. They're finally starting to hit their threes at the rate that they normally do. I love the way they're attacking the basket, which is getting other players open for shots. And there's a level of intensity on defense that we did not see those first 3 games.
I think that's the biggest component. When I notice defensively what they're doing in Miami right now, it's kind of like Jimmy's not going to beat us. So if he drops 30 or 40, that means it's been a lapse in their change in defense. And yes, then Miami's going to the NBA Finals. If Jimmy drops 40, Miami's going to the NBA Finals. But if they play at the intensity that they did last game, especially to set the tone, last game at home, if they come out in Miami and do the same thing, this series is going 7, and the Celtics are going to win this series and head to the NBA Finals. They're going to be the first team to come back from a 3-0 deficit. I truly believe that. And I think that this Celtics team is locked in. And I think it took them being on the verge of being out of the playoffs, not having a chance to go back and avenge their finals loss from last year. It took a lot of the stuff coming out in the media that said, you know what, these guys, they're not together. They don't like each other. They're ready to quit on each other. It took Joe Mazzulla saying, maybe I'm not fit for this coaching job, and everybody calling for his head sooner than later. I think the Celtics team is ready to go, and I think they're going to be the first team ever to come back from a 3-0 deficit, and I don't say that lightly.
And it's crazy, Justin, because all the pressure switched, right? Like, Boston's the higher seed. Originally, right. Boston's about to get swept. Boston's, going to go out and all that stuff. And now it feels like Miami's about to blow a 3-0 lead. Like, that's all everyone's talking about. And we'll see how that catches up to some of these guys, man. I'm grateful. I didn't want 2 sweeps. I still want Miami to win, but we have so many great storylines and so much to talk about. Where there's a part of me that's like, oh man, if we get a Game 7, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to get to a Game 7.
6 is going to be intense, bro.
Yeah, it's going to
be. Even more so than like a potential Game 7. I think this Game 6 is going to be intense, bro. So we'll see how it goes. Just breaking news, obviously, before the show started, I want to tap in with you on it real quick. DeAndre Hopkins is released. He's talked about, obviously, we've talked about the teams that he's kind of nodded, like, I want to be there. And it seems like the common one to me has either been 2 teams. The Ravens and the Bills. And so now DeAndre Hopkins has his choice of team that he's going to get to sign with. I'm on the Bills. I think he's going to the Bills. That's just kind of my gut call. There's a spot for him there. They need him to be the number 2 receiver. How are you feeling about DeAndre Hopkins and where you think he lands?
I really hope it's not Kansas City. I feel like I can see him somehow ending up in Kansas City and that just being an issue for the entire league.
That would be crazy, bro.
It's insane because now he kind of gets to choose and pick where he wants to go. And originally, I think I said the Detroit Lions, and I hope that doesn't happen. But he's talked about some of the quarterbacks, Herbert, Mahomes, Allen, some of these guys, Lamar Jackson, that he wants to play with on a podcast. So I'd imagine those are the names we look at. Baltimore would be fun. I would love to see him go and team up with Odell and Lamar and all those guys. But I feel like Buffalo's kind of a home run hit, and he could play with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, and that Buffalo seems like the safe pick here.
Yeah,
but there's a part of me that's saying Kansas City, and I don't like that part of my brain.
I hope it's not KC, because I feel like everybody would then kind of be like, oh, the only reason D-Hop's good is because of Pat Mahomes. So it's like, and I really like D-Hop as a receiver. I think he's one of the game changers in the league. So I hope it's there, or even the Ravens. Like, I know the Ravens already have like Zay Jones. They got like there's Zay Flowers. They got Bateman. They got OBJ, Mark Andrews. I know it's like a crowded room already, but I feel like him and Lamar, like getting Lamar another weapon. Yeah. When he just openly came out and said, you know what? I'm going to be running less, throwing more in this new offense. I think it's time, man, because all the running back stuff that people call they say about Lamar, he can't throw the football. He's just a running back playing quarterback. He shouldn't get paid. Like, I think this is a redemption year for Lamar Jackson. How awesome would it be to see him throw for like 5,000 yards and shut all the haters up? That shit would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
And hey, signing DeAndre Hopkins would be another great start towards that. And that would really prove your point that you're looking to throw the football. I think Lamar Jackson, if they sign DeAndre Hopkins, they're just proving to him that they're, all of his words they're backing up. So that'd be really cool to see. Buffalo as well. Everyone's like, oh, DeAndre Hopkins, like, they didn't want to pay like too much money, the steroids, but his hands are so damn good. Like steroids ain't doing anything for that.
Bro, in the AFC, you need guys like that can make plays. Imagine him and Diggs and D-Hop on the floor on the field at the same time. That would be a crazy, like, between those two. Dawson Knox has drafted Dalton Kincaid. They got the run game going, the home run here with James Cook there. Obviously, Josh Allen's a threat to take it himself in at any given point in time in the red zone. Gabe Davis, big body can stretch the field. He's not very consistent, but we've seen him do 4 touchdowns in a playoff game before. Like, this team is going to be loaded. And for the AFC East, everybody's ready to crown the New York Jets. I think this could be Buffalo's way of saying, hey, hold on a second. We still here. So I don't know. This is a crazy time because it's OTAs, right? And every team thinks they can win the Super Bowl right now. And every player, literally every single player, is in like the best shape of their life, right? player X is in like the best shape of his life. I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a guy, I mean, come on, we give him, this is 4th season now. Like, we've given him a chance. And it's like, oh, Andy Reid is surprised. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life. And I'm like, come on, bro. Every player, is that what we doing right now?
It reminds me of like every single year when the Dallas Cowboys come out and they're like, oh, Zeke's in the best shape of his life. Like, Zeke looks like a different player. Like, for me as a Bears fan, OTAs, like, I see videos of Justin Fields throwing to DJ Moore, and then week 1 comes and I feel like most fan bases, like 80% of them, kind of get humbled and realize that, maybe this isn't the year we're going to win the Super Bowl.
I've seen a lot of DJ Moore love this offseason too. Like, oh, he's going to do the AJ Brown numbers. I'm like, nah, it's Chicago, bro. You got to know how Chicago is with the passing game. Speaking of news that came out too, LeBron is returning for year 21. Has slightly been confirmed, I guess. And, I had a little premature reaction. I was in my emotions that day, off a loss.
They caught you on. Oh, that was, you know what? You had every right considering the circumstances of what was going on. So
it just felt like LeBron was kind of the same way. He was like, I don't know, I got to think about it. I'm like, no, it's all over. It's over.
Jumping to conclusions.
LeBron expected to be back for year 21, which most people agreed with and thought that would happen. I myself, like I said, was on the other side of that, but he should be back and they'll be ready to go. One place that he will not be going is to Taiwan with Dwight Howard, bro.
Dwight Howard, man.
Yo, Taiwan. Have you seen these Dwight Howard videos? He's like, everybody that's like kind of falling or losing, he's like, come to Taiwan, Dylan Brooks. Come to Taiwan, Draymond Green. Said, come to Taiwan, LeBron.
He's a must follow at this point on Twitter because during the entire NBA playoffs, he's just trolling and it's great. I think Dwight Howard is one of those players, like, they were talking about before, like the last time LeBron, I think, had lost in the conference finals was to Dwight Howard in the Orlando Magic. So I think a lot of us forget about how dominant Dwight Howard at one point was. But the fact that he's now trolling in Taiwan, especially with some of the videos of him like filming in there with like, oh, it's great.
I love it. It looks like he's having the time of his life out there in Taiwan. I'm right. Shout out to the host, Nick Durst. LeBron made up that retirement talk to shade himself from the sweep talk. I don't know about that, man. I think he's frustrated. Like, when you go in, you take a loss like that. Sometimes you're like, bro, I don't know, man. Like, it makes you reevaluate everything. What you drinking over there? You just casually pull up a Starbucks? What is that?
Little Starbucks. You know what it reminds me of? I used to stream FIFA, and like whenever I'd lose multiple games, I was terrible. But I'd be like, I'm never playing this game again. I'm done playing FIFA. Next day, what do I have fired up? FIFA. So it kind of reminds me of that where, LeBron, he put everything on the line there. I understand his frustration and his questioning, like, hey, am I good enough to keep doing this? Like, if we can't beat the Denver Nuggets or if I can't win a championship, what's the point? But I'm glad that LeBron's coming back. And I, like we talked about before, I imagine when he does.
Hold on. Before we get into this LeBron stuff, Oh, you just avoided the question. What kind of drink do you have, bro? What is the drink? I want to know what it exactly is.
Ice, brown sugar, oat shake, and espresso.
Ice, brown. I don't even know. I'm not gonna try to repeat that, bro.
Whenever I go there, I just like totally butcher the name. Yeah. But it's very good. And this morning we had the cable guy come out, so my dog woke me up early. So I need a little extra energy boost. Are you a coffee guy or no?
I am a coffee drinker. Most of the time it's from the Keurig though. I just put the pod in, a little splash of creamer. When I'm eating well and I'm doing well on my diet, I can drink it black. If I ever go to Starbucks though, I gotta get like a caramel macchiato, dog. Like I'm one of the sweet, like gotta have the extra pump of like caramel and shit. Like a frappuccino or something. Like whatever the most generic sweetest drink is, that's what I need at Starbucks. Love it. I can't do like the extra soy milk, double pump latte. I don't know what all that shit is. I ain't gonna lie. What do you got planned for the weekend?
I'm still here in Austin with the family, so I think we're doing dinner tonight, and then I told them no dinner Saturday night because got to be tapped in for Game 6. I'm really excited. I think for me this Game 6 is I'm more looking forward to this game than some of the NBA Finals, just because I think the storylines are.
I don't know about that, bro. More than the NBA Finals?
I don't know. I find myself as a Miami Heat fan, right? So if Boston goes through, I don't hate Denver. I like Jamal Murray, but I feel like with each season I dislike the Celtics more and more. And I don't know what that is. I think it comes from the fact that Boston seems to win everything in sports, and they're just like kind of an obnoxious fan base. I got nothing,
I'm gonna be real. Like, even I wear this LA on my brim. I'm a Laker fan. I find myself rooting for Jason Tatum a lot, bro.
Really?
I find myself because he's already been through a lot, like as a player, been to the finals. We talked about 14 closeout games now. We've seen him hit some really big shots. We've seen him on the other side too of some massive L's. And it's like he's only 25 years old. He's one of the best players in the NBA. Kind of reminds me a lot of, Kobe, who I watched growing up. Takes a lot of big shots. Sometimes will go errant from the field. But like I find myself being a fan of Jason Tatum and like where he's about to be in his career. So even though he's on the opposite side there of this Lakers-Celtics rivalry, which really isn't a rivalry anymore at this day and age, but I find myself rooting for Jason Tatum, man. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. So as the series goes on, kind of like how you became a Jimmy Butler stan, I would say, over these playoffs. I'm becoming a Jason Tatum stan. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've kind of liked Jason Tatum a lot even before this year, but I find myself rooting for him, even though it could lead to number 18 for them. For the Boston Celtics.
What do you got planned for the weekend?
So I will be laying low. Like last weekend I had that AAU tournament I talked about. I was in LA. I forgot to talk about this. This is actually a pretty interesting thing. Last weekend when I was in LA, I headed to Venice Beach. Okay. And, my first time ever at Venice Beach, I walked over to the basketball court, like the infamous White Man Can't Jump basketball court. Shout out to that movie too. Jack Harlow did good in that movie, bro. If you haven't seen it, put it on. It's on Hulu. White Man Can't Jump, the remix. But I walked over to the basketball court and I was like, hey, I'm with my son, kind of an iconic moment. I'm like, let's get some shots up. There's people playing, like the old guys on one side, like playing like it's the NBA Finals over there, right? You got like some good action there. We got some shots up. But then right next to the court, it was this volleyball thing. You see like all these huge cameras, like big ESPN type cameras. It's all blocked off. And I'm like, what the hell is this, right? So I'm thinking like they're shooting some kind of like movie, they're shooting some kind of, commercial or something. This is an actual sport called tech volley, TEQVOLY. So it's like volleyball, but they play on like this rounded surface. I'll have to bring it up at some point. I'll bring like some pictures next episode.
Yeah, show me some photos.
But it's like a rounded type of table. And so instead of hitting it over the net, they're hitting it off of this rounded table. It's incredible to watch, and it's like a brand new sport. So they're trying to like pump it up. Yeah, it's called tech volley. If you ever look it up, it's called tech volley. They had men's and the women's final on the same day, and it was competitive, bro. They were playing for like $20K. I was like, shit, let me get my ass out there.
I was gonna say, did you tap in? Did they suck you in at one point?
They had little side tables. I tried it. It's harder than it looks, though.
Oh, I bet.
Like it's harder than it looks. So, one last note before we get off. You say you're camera shy, and I know that's a damn lie. You're not camera shy. You're on camera all the time. But normally you're covering Cubs games. And if everybody has not followed Mbone HD on all social media
platforms, we're not going here, are we?
Get a follow over to Matt And then who they playing right now?
You know what? It now makes sense because Nick's got the full Mets gear on. I should have.
Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey Chicago, what do you say? How is that loss to the Mets yesterday?
You know what? You know who's my favorite Mets fan is Frank the Tank. I absolutely think he's a must follow on Twitter. What's your thoughts on Daniel Vogelback?
I've never seen a DH who has 2 home runs and just walks a bunch. And Jose Reyes was getting on him last night on Twitter saying, "Hey, Daniel, why don't you swing the bat?" But the Mets won 10-1, so that didn't really matter that he couldn't.
They did. Hey, the Cubs got the series, though, so I'm sure we'll see you guys again. I think we play you guys one more time at some point this year.
Probably at Citi Field. I thought Justin was a big San Francisco Giants fan, but he just...
Hey, I got no loyalties. I'm like Matt in hoop. Matt just goes from the Bulls to the Clippers. That's me in baseball. I'm like, whoever got the dopest hat, I'm rocking.
Oh, man.
Yo, but shout out to Nick Durst and the Mets getting a win here. But also, we got to say happy birthday to my guy, Nick Durst. Happy birthday to you, Brody. What'd you do for your birthday?
Well, yesterday went to dinner, and this morning I went out for a breakfast.
Oh, you did?
It was a pretty good looking breakfast. Let me show you guys what I had here.
We got to see you breakfast, man, because breakfast is always good, bro. But it has to be like a special breakfast.
Here it is. Cover up Matt here, but a little before you got the bunch of pancakes.
Pancakes, bro. There's no way you ate all that.
How many pancakes is it?
You ate this?
Pancakes.
There's no way, bro. You look like, I'm not gonna lie. You look like you probably look like you're like 175 pounds. I'm not gonna lie. There's no way you ate 6 pancakes.
Hey, I'm not 175. I'm less than that. Come on, man.
Yo, you smashed all the pancakes?
I stacked them, I smashed them, and they were gone. And I felt so sick after, but I'm skipping lunch today. I had that about 5 hours ago.
There you
I'll
go.
just power through till dinner time. This weekend I'll have the official birthday cake, and so we'll close out the birthday. Always have Memorial Day weekend for my birthday. I was born on Memorial Day. My sister was born on the Super Bowl. So
that's
just,
dope.
Very
holiday
centric there. So nice to get the extra, the weekend, the holiday weekend. Hopefully some good weather and hopefully some Mets wins as well.
Oh, little Mets Cubs action here. Well, happy birthday to you, my man. And today we're gonna get off a little bit early, bro. We're gonna have, what I'm saying, we talked about a lot about this series, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of time off. I'm gonna take some time off, and we're gonna come back next week, guys, talking more NFL, NBA finals probably on the horizon. It's been real for Nick Durst, Matt, and Justin, myself. It's been real. Justin Henry Show. Peace out.